Are you guys ready to rumble? Welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher.
So let's jump right into it.
We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is good, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and I want to thank you guys for joining me for another video here on the channel. Before I start in this video, I want to remind you guys, these two guys right here are some of the best comic book and collectible YouTubers out there. So if you're not subbed to both of these guys, you're definitely missing out. With that said, I go into my spiel now. If you're not currently a sub of the channel, do yourself a favor, hit that sub button, smash the like button for me, because it always helps the channel out. With that said, let's talk about these two guys right here. So both of these two gentlemen actually put out some really great content as of late regarding slabbing comic books, the value of said comic books, and then a comic book marketplace later on down the line. And I'm here to tell you guys, they're both actually right. And I'm going to explain it to you right here. Also stick around because I'm going to give you my 2 cents at the end of this video. With that said, let's start with Collectibles Dad because I believe he's the one who put out the first video regarding this. And he was basically stating that all the books eventually will be 100% graded. And we're talking about the keys. We're not talking about the little books here and there. But he was stating down the line, almost all comic books will be graded. And I'm here to tell you, he's 100% right. I do believe that almost all comic book keys at some point will be graded. Why? Because comic book collectors like to have their books graded. I'm going to say it plain in sight. I've been saying this for the past couple of years, guys. Everybody wants slabs. There's a few collectors out there that I talk to, especially the older people and people like me who like collecting raw comic books, especially the bigger keys, but they're few and far between right now. He also stated that as these books are graded, the census numbers will rise, driving down the price of said books. I think he is partially right here because the census numbers are going up, and I actually have a buddy of mine, check this out. He's actually been tracking some of the major keys and how many copies have been graded over the past month or so. Listen to this data. Amazing Fantasy 15. There have been 13 new copies in just over a month graded by CGC. Avengers #1. There's just under 20 copies that have been graded in just over a month. We have a Batman 1. There are 0 copies graded over that time frame. There have been 8 new copies of Incredible Hulk #1 graded over a month and a half. There have been 23 new graded copies of X-Men 1 over the past month and a half. That is just freaking wild. So we know that there is no such thing as rarity in the comic book market, withstanding some books from the Golden Age. So we know there are a ton of copies out there of most of these comics, going from the Silver Age all the way through the modern age of comics. However, I will say this. I think most of those books eventually will be graded except for the Copper Age books and the Modern Age books. And the only reason I'm saying that is there's just so many copies of those books out there. And if you haven't watched the video out there by Mike from Lunch Money Comics, he just went to a local show and he was pulling out 10 to 20 copies of Copper Age keys at a time. That to me was nuts. Go check out that video because it was awesome. With that said, Collectibles Dad's argument was that the amount of copies that are increasing on the census right now will eventually go ahead and drive down the value of comics. Swagglehouse claimed, yes, there is no rarity factor in a lot of these books, which we do know. However, it won't really affect the value going down the line in the future. And I'm here to say, I think he's 100% right. If you go back 20 plus years when CGC eventually came to pass, how many people were sending in their books? I could have gotten an Incredible Hulk #181 and a 7075 for $400. That to me is crazy. Comic book values, especially for keys, no matter how many copies are out there, no matter how many books are on the census, they will always go up in value, just like inflation. With that said, there will be peaks, there will be valleys. Comic book buying is all about timing. Now, we had that comic boom where prices went out of control. Back then, before the boom, you could have bought an Amazing Spider-Man #129 for around $500 to $700 in mid-grade. Now go look at a mid-grade copy of Amazing Spider-Man #129. You're definitely probably paying $800 to $900 at minimum to own that book. So has it gone up in value? Yes. Has it gone down in value since the boom? Absolutely, but I just told you guys it is all about timing. And that's what the comic book market is. It's all about people coming into the hobby, the desirability of these books, and then people leaving the hobby and actually selling these books again. These comics are just nostalgia. There's a reason why most collectors are over 35 to 40 years of age, is because they grew up with this stuff. So we need a whole new wave of collectors to come in. Granted, every time I go to a comic show, what do I see, guys? I see older men. We're not talking infinite. There are collectors of all ages. So with that said, I do think both of these guys are right. Collectibles Dad, yes, 100% of these books are going to be slabbed at some point. There is just no doubt in my mind. People just keep sending books in. Also, Swags is right. I don't think it affect the actual value of some of these books. These books have been around since the 60s and 70s, and they continue to go up in value. Like I said before, there will be peaks and there will be valleys, and it all depends on when you're willing to pull the trigger. So I want to give you my 2 cents now and talk a little bit about what I have been seeing. And I think neither of these guys touched upon what I'm about to tell you. The first thing is this. If you're a comic book collector and you buy books, whether you're at a con, whether you're at an IG live sale or an IG post from other collectors, the only thing I can't really attest to is eBay, because eBay is too big to track at times with what's selling. However, whenever I'm on a sale, whenever I go to a show, what do I see people buying? I see people buying raw books. I don't see people buying slabs. People want deals on comics when the market is slow, and the market is slow right now. When I see people buying slabs, I see them asking questions like, can you read me the serial number so I could check the notes on the slab? They're asking questions like, is that book a candidate for a press and a grade bump? That's what I'm seeing consistently from buyers out there right now. Most of the people who are buying slabs, and there are exceptions to this rule, are looking for grade bumps and they're looking for equity in their comic books. And nobody mentioned that as of yet. I've also gone to comic shows. I've set up at comic shows recently, and I've talked to dealers who said, I did not sell one slab the entire show. Now, again, that's 1 or 2 shows. That doesn't mean it's every show, but I'm consistently seeing that. Are people buying some slabs? Don't get me wrong. I think people out there are buying AF-15s. I think people out there are buying slabs of Tales of Suspense 39 because there is greater risk in spending that kind of money buying a book like that raw. Of course, there are exceptions like me. I'm a wild man. I'm always looking for massive keys in the raw form because it's just what I want. With that said, though, I think a lot of people are scared to do that. So there are some slabs selling, and if someone can get a great deal on a slab, they're going to do it. I think Swaggelhaus also brought this up, is that people want to buy their books raw, clean it, press it, and submit it themselves to CGC. Why? Because they want equity in their comic books. And a lot of the time, you can get a better deal on a raw comic than you can on a slab. So I have to ask you guys this. Are you buying slabs right now? Are you buying raw comics? I've also bought collections recently where most of them were slabs and I've had to sell them at a massive discount. We're giving deals left and right. So what does that tell you? People want equity in their comic books. Will it drive books down temporarily? Sure. Anytime we have an influx of books for sale, it's going to drive down the price. But that doesn't mean over the long period of time that these comic books won't go up. I've been saying it since day one. Right now, there's only about 6 to 10 Bronze Age comics that I want to own. There's maybe about 15 to 20 Silver Age books that I want to own. Why? Because those are the books that will stand the test of time 20 years down the line when we're talking about value. Again, this does not apply to non-key issues, and it doesn't apply as well to minor key issues because a lot of the times those books don't go up for the long term. They merely spike and go right back down. Hence why I cover the Hot 10 Comics of the Week breakdown, because we talk about if these books are buying at some of these prices. Now, it all depends on the book. So the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to ask you guys here right now, are you buying slabs or are you buying raw books? Are you buying slabs for your collection or are you buying slabs to actually crack, press, and resubmit to CGC? The census does not always have all the data. Yes, we know people are cracking and resubmitting all the time, so it's not 100% accurate. Is it close enough? 100% it is close enough. There are books out there. But if you stick to the 15, 20 Silver Age I'm talking about, and you stick to the 10 Bronze Age I'm talking about, I think you're just going to do just fine if you buy them at the right time, and that is the key. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just going to put a poll with this video. Go to my YouTube channel and look for that poll. I want you guys to tell me, are you buying slabs or are you buying raws? And we're going to find out who is actually right. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.